cold therapy is also known as cryotherapy. I hate it, but it is really good for you. Why are these things that seemingly sort of harsh to our body good? It's a little bit the same way as when I exercise hard, right? Exercise hard is a stress to my body. And that's why I don't want to go out and exercise when I'm sick or things like that. It's a big stress to the body, but that stress to the body has a rebound effect of causing a lot of repair and growth. Well, the same thing's true when I expose my body to extremes like temperature extremes, either hot or cold. For instance, when you look at inflammation, when you get cold exposure, one of the things that happens is it triggers vasoconstriction of blood vessels. The blood vessels narrow down, right? And there's a rebound vasodilatation after that vasoconstriction. So you get out, you get this vasodilatation. Now, what does that do? It's going to actually help remove all these inflammatory mediators out of your system. So that's going to stop some of these inflammatory cytokines from circulating around. It's going to help eliminate some of these inflammatory cytokines and reduce a lot of oxidative stress. There's also something when you stress cells, it's called a hormetic stress response. So hormesis, remember, is a little bit of something bad is good. So that's that balance. A little bit of if you over exercise, it's bad, but some exercise is good. If you don't exercise enough, it's bad. You need the right amount. That's true of everything in our life, right? Too much water can kill you. Too little water can kill you. But when you expose cells to cold, they activate this hormetic stress response, and that triggers what are called cold shock proteins. And these are things like RBM3, CIRP. Those don't mean much to you guys, but they're just these what are called heat shock proteins, or HSPs. And those actually heat shock proteins are designed to help protect cells and promote tissue repair. So this cellular adaptations potentially going to enhance our longevity, because when we have this ability to adapt to stressors, now when there's a zombie apocalypse, my body's going to be able to adapt to those kinds of things. We also know that cold appears to induce mitochondrial biogenesis, meaning making new mitochondria. As we age, or after sickness or trauma, we have reduced number of mitochondria. So we just can make less energy, right? So when you expose yourself to cold, the body, that little stress, the body's like, okay, I need more energy. I'm going to make more mitochondria. Exercise does the same thing. So I'm going to build more mitochondria. So now I magnify the number of mitochondria I have, and I can make more ATP, and I can make more energy. And then, when you look at things like even DNA, so cold exposure actually seems to protect DNA, again, probably by production of some of the heat shock proteins, but there's probably some other protective mechanisms. These are things where I think we're going to start looking at, like the quantum field. How does quantum physiology and quantum biology play a role here? I think we're going to look at what happens to electrons. We actually know that changes in electrons are one of the things that repair DNA. So are we, by exposing these electrons to heat, changing the way they're moving, and that's actually causing the DNA repair? I think that's one of the cool things we're going to start figuring out as we combine sort of our quantum physics field with our quantum biology field. Immune system is markedly improved when you do cold exposure. So you can increase white blood cells. I have an autoimmune disease. My white blood cells are always on the low side. So by exposing myself to cold, this stimulates production of white blood cells. So there's a whole lot of benefits to cold therapy, also a lot of benefits to infrared, and that contrast going back and forth between the two can be really useful. I highly advise it. I've been doing it for years. I keep thinking maybe I'll learn to like it. I just don't, but I'll continue to do it to support my health.